I'm working on our Trees in Space project. I'm working with fine charcoal at the moment, and I'm working on charcoal paper, which is part of your assignment. Charcoal paper has a nice tooth to it so it grabs the charcoal. I'm kind of plotting out my composition as I start. I want to have a focal point, and that's going to be this main tree here. I'm looking for a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And so I'm just managing first to shade in broad areas of the paper before I start working with detail. I'm using a blending stump. And you can see I have a little man-made structure in the background, a little bench, which is actually part of our other assignment, drawing man-made structures in space. So we're kind of combining a little bit of everything here. And atmospheric perspective. In atmospheric perspective, once again, objects that are closer to us will see more detail. As subject matter gets further away, they're going to be lighter in value. The whole atmosphere in the background will be lighter in value. So I'm going to start working. I'm doing the contour of this main tree using charcoal pencil now, which is actually a 6B charcoal pencil. I'm looking at the negative space between my branches to try to draw accurately the position of the branches. It's helpful that these trees do not have leaves on them, so we really get to see the position of the branches. I actually think it makes for a more interesting drawing to see all the different branches in the directions that they're going for our composition. And what's nice about this tree are the branches are flowing over towards that bench, so we have kind of movement in our composition. I do have a road in my picture. I'm actually going to include as a diagonal line through my composition in the middle ground. All this is very preliminary. I'm just blocking things in. I think I'm going to use a tissue to help blend this. I have a tree behind my focal point tree, and that's good because that shows depth. Once again, in atmospheric perspective, or in perspective, as things go further away, the illusion of depth is created in our drawing by things getting smaller. So even though that tree in the distance is probably the same size as my main tree, it looks much smaller because of the amount of footage between it and the first tree. And I'll pay attention to my negative space again to locate the placement of that tree. Just toning my paper because nothing out here is white. I'm going to try to draw my cast shadows that the trees are casting on the ground now before they go away, before the sun changes them. That's one of the issues you have when you're outdoors. The sun is always going to be changing, going in and out and changing your shadows. So you have to make a decision, where and when do I want to put my shadows? Because shadows are an element also of your composition. Even though they're not a thing, they are a shape. It's important where you put your shadows on your branches of your tree, because your branches aren't going in the same direction. So the sun is going to be hitting the branches different ways depending on the direction your branches are going, which will help create that three-dimensional space that you want. Different trees have different types of bark. This particular tree has a model but smooth bark, so I don't need to be doing a lot of texture on this tree. But depending on what tree you're drawing, pay attention to the texture of the bark on the tree. All right, way in the background I have some evergreen trees, and they don't really fit into my composition. They kind of go off the page. So I'm going to just actually take some artistic license and bring them down a little bit so I can include some of that variety of tree in the background of my drawing. I'll have to decide if I like them or not. I can always erase them. There's no detail to them because they're far away, but they do have an overall contour to them and a value. You can make artistic decisions. There are a couple boxes by the road that I'm going to omit, but there is a tree next to the bench in the distance that I will add to the drawing. And this is a tree that has many branches, so it has many shadows, which I don't know if I can include them all or if I want to. Some little bushes behind that I can't really define much except for some squiggly marks. Everything has not started to bloom yet, so what we have is very late winter bushes and trees that may have a few dead leaves on them, and I think that bush in the background here actually does. I haven't finished the tree over here. I haven't done anything with the foreground yet, and as we've been here for a while, the sun has moved so that actually there's a shadow here being cast by the building behind us, behind me, that I'm going to not draw in, but there is elements of dead grass that I might want to maybe give a little hint of, and some ornamental grass that hasn't begun to grow yet, so just the dead ends of them are sitting in the foreground. I'm not so sure how much I want to add to that, but it is there, so I have to make a decision. Also, there's some twigs of bushes over here that I'm thinking just to balance, kind of have a Z composition where I come in and over and down. I may take one of them and just move it to the foreground. I can always erase if I'm not happy with it. It's good to stand away from your work once in a while just to get a feel for the whole. Sometimes when you're really up close, you can't see the whole picture. There's a whole pile of rocks over to the left that I can barely fit into my picture, but I am going to just indicate a few of them. It's like a little rock garden, I guess. That's what it is. I suspect it also is there to help with drainage. Now there's more trees over here that I can't add. I will continue working up these branches. There's more trees over to my left that obviously I can't fit into the composition. And so when you are looking for something to draw, take your viewfinder or your hands, just walk around whatever scene you're looking at to find the best. There may be multiple good compositions. And once again, there's nothing white here in my in fact, the whitest white are actually the rocks. So I'm going to put some value in the foreground. Because I've eliminated or not drawn in the buildings that are in the far background, we could almost imagine this road not being a busy highway or a busy road, but just more of a country path. So when you're looking for your trees in space, you may be in the middle of a park that's in the middle of a city. You don't have to draw the buildings. You can pick and choose what you want to put in your composition. You have what's called artistic license to move trees around in your composition. And you can come back to the same landscape multiple days. So you're capturing the same light until you finish your drawing, which I will probably do. You don't have to wait for a perfect day. I think it may be 40 degrees out right now. Having a sunny day helps because you get shadows, which really add to the three-dimensionality of your trees. The branches of your trees, some of them are foreshortened, coming straight at you. They bend, and as they bend, the light hits them differently. That adds to your overall completed drawing. So I'm going to continue to work on this, and we will be showing you the final piece when we're done.